I'm kind of excited about this because this is a very unethical stolen build, right? So in order to ethic it up a bit, I'm going to craft all of my gear for this character. Normally, lately I've been crafting most of my gear anyway, but we might just craft all of my gear. I mean, I might use Tempest Binding for a while. There's no like hard and fast rules here, but eventually I try and craft a helmet to replace it anyway. So pretty much going to craft all my gear on this character, which should be really fun. I did actually craft these boots as well. We're going to use for a while. Eventually upgrade out of these ones into some other boots that I'll craft. Maybe even taking these. Oh no, but they have a. I'd have to remove the Fizz extra cold if I wanted to awaken a slam, but that's for later. That's for later. I have some bases. I have an Occultist Vestment, 85 Occultist Vestment. I opted for this over a... Well, I actually bought a Val Regalia, for, but it was item level 83, and I didn't realize. I was like, oh shit, no, I'll need higher than that. So I was like, I bought that for 1x, and I was like, what will I do with this then? Because I ended up going for the Val Regalia. I was like, I don't really need Energy Shield that much anyway, because I'm going to be crafting life gear. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just sell this. So I threw one dense fossil on there and landed like almost 600 ES. So I was like, oh, sweet. So we'll turn a profit on that when I sell it. And I'll craft a Occultist Vestment instead anyway. We might do some like stepping stones. So we'll craft like some basic gear to begin with. And then, you know, decent bases, but like basic versions of them. And then like progress them. So maybe I might craft something that's just like life and resist. And then maybe like to potentially make it an attack, a spell crit version, and then maybe later do an Awaken Orb, turn into a Spell Crit Exploity chest or something like that. So we'll start off with the chest, I think. I got an Occultist Vestment. It cost me 30 Chaos for an item level 85 6-link Occultist Vestment. Since we're going to be a life base anyway, a little bit less energy shield, and trade that off for some spell damage, seemed like a good deal to me. So I thought we'd go with the Occultist Vestment for craft instead. Now, there's a few ways we could go. So I want to craft this character, like, step by step, kind of. We're not going to just, like, dump all of our cash into gambling on getting one, like, perfect item. We're going to make decent items to begin with, then we're going to make pretty good items, and then we're going to make perfect items. Sometimes it's better just to go for the best thing, but I think in this case, we're just starting endgame. I'm wearing a Tabula and some random stuff from my thing. I'm wearing a Laurie's Lantern and a Life Sprig and a random a shield that I literally got from a quest reward. So... You know, at the moment, the only thing that I have that's going to stay for the moment is Tempest Binding until I craft a helmet, because it's a fine placeholder for now, and a pair of boots that I chaos spammed, which are, okay. Not amazing, but okay. They got elusive on them. I think, like, just slamming a life essence and seeing how that rolls is not a bad start. 120 to 126 guaranteed life. Pretty open-ended on what else we get. If we end up with, depending what we end up with, distribution of affixes, if we end up with, like, say, an open suffix, then maybe we could do something interesting with a Hunter Orb. If it rolls really well, we could slam a Hunter's Orb, hoping for spell crit. So, that's potentially a step that we can take immediately, if we're a little bit lucky with the slam. Alternatively, we could do pristine fossils. Just straight up pristine fossils would be pretty easy as well. If the essence doesn't land, maybe we'll do that. Essence is very deterministic though, which is great. And since I just have a whole stash of them, might as well use them up a bit. So... oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So we haven't opened... This is a very flexible item as well. This is an incredibly flexible item. The mana is not much use to me. However, we did roll open prefix and open suffix. So what that means we can do is we can mastercraft percent life, and then we can slam an Exalt on there. It's expensive. The Hunter Exalt is worth a lot, but the chest armor is a good place to do it. And if this ends up being Hunter influenced, then later I can try and roll it for crit, even if it doesn't land crit now, and then potentially later smush it with an Awaken Orb to make a crit exploity chest. So that's a pretty good start, I think. A good intelligence roll and clean open prefix suffix. Would have been nice to land a resist, maybe. There's a craft for percent of life as energy shield, right? That is a very good craft. I don't know if I have that. I actually have a low version of it. Percentage life as an extra energy shield. Yeah, so I can either do 5 to 8% life and mana, or I can do percent life as extra energy shield. Either way, it's a prefix and it blocks it, and it's pretty easy for us to re-roll that later. Let's have a look how much life and energy shield we gain when we put this on. So we're at 3984 and 468. 4,300 and 1,300 energy shield. A massive gain to the energy shield. Look at that energy shield get thicker. Looking pretty nice. Alright, I'm like fairly happy with this result. The odds of getting the open prefix and the open suffix are actually like pretty low. Whilst also, you know, I mean, we had the guaranteed life, and the only other good thing that rolled was the int. So really, we could have done a lot better, but I'm like happy enough with that, especially considering I'm likely to later end up smushing this with a Awakened Absorb if we do get the crit, or re-rolling it later anyway. So I think I'm just going to slam a Hunter's Exalt on there. We could definitely do better, but I'm going to do it. Oh my god. I got the spell crit. It is tier 2 though, unfortunately. It is 2-2, but this is a very good chest for now. But that's a pretty good start right there. That's a pretty good start. For reference, if we go to the Hunter, the options were 2 tiers of spell crit, 2 tiers of attack crit, 2 tiers of offerings, and 2 tiers of regen. So the odds are actually not like super high of hitting the spell crit. So getting tier 2 spell crit is a pretty solid start. This could be divined. Divines are about 10C. 10C is not a bad investment to maybe gain a bit more crit, but it would probably take maybe a couple divines unless we're lucky. That's a pretty good start. It's like 12C for a divine. I have a couple, so I'm gonna give it a go. That's terrible. So we went backwards. 8-9. Okay, 8-9 is pretty good. That's like we can round that up to 10% off max, which is pretty good. And we have a chest. We have a chest. Very good start. Very good. Unlikely, probably the next thing I'll craft is a belt, actually. I have a 86 to G and Vise here already. This is a pretty easy thing to craft. So, because belts are jewelry, we can quality them first, though. And I would like... These are expensive, but I think I'm going to do life affixes on the belt. You can get a lot of life on a belt. So I wouldn't mind amping that up here. If I was going to use my Fertile Catalyst on anything, would it be the rings, amulet, or the belt? It'd be the belt for sure, right? So I'm going to do them on here. Now this means we don't want to be like regaling or anything like that, because we're going to lose that quality and it's very expensive. But what we can do is Fossil Craft, because Fossil Craft for belts is quite nice because you can get increased lightning damage, which is not usually available on belts. So you can get that specifically through Fossil. You can do Metallic and Pristine. Pristine to help that life. Life recovery from Flask, which is a bit meh. And then lightning damage, so... The Pristine Fossils are not super amazing, but they're still going to help roll the life in the first place. And yeah, if I fail on my Pristine Fossils, I could just spam Metallics as well. That's perfectly viable. Ideally, we just roll fat life and lightning damage, though. Oops, I got to Alcott first. 78 life, lightning resistance, life recovery, flask, life recovery. So, not amazing. Usable for now, but not amazing. Movement speed during flask effect is kind of alright. Chaos resist during flask effect is actually not, if you do chaos res during flask effect, it's actually not that bad. I don't know whether that's a prefix or a suffix, though. It's actually kind of good, this league. So, essence crafting a build is pretty YOLO, but we can't land the lightning damage if we do that, though. It is not possible to land the lightning damage. Bad trait would be good but I'm an Inquisitor. I think throwing some metallic fossils on there and just RNGing into the life is also a valid strategy, so we might try that. Now, you just got to remember that, well, Scour, Out, Chaos, Fossil, Essence, those don't consume the quality, so they're all safe to use. Regals, Exalts, so on are not. So this time I actually rolled elemental damage with attack skills, 87 life. That's like a pretty good rolls. If I was an attack elemental build, I'd be like, that's pretty good. And open suffix for extra resist, but not what I'm looking for. Nothing there. Haven't hit that lightning damage yet. I don't have many scours, which is a little awkward. Just looking to craft something fairly decent for now. It doesn't have to be god tier, just fairly decent. But we're not even hitting that right now. So we might have to resort to another method if this does not work out for us. We hit lightning damage with no open prefixes, though. This is actually like lightning damage with 46 weapon elemental damage and 46 lightning. Energy shields. Like, almost would be sellable, but very weird and niche, though. It's a little unfortunate. There's nothing I would really do to try and save that. Like, yeah, you could maybe annul it, but it's not like good enough otherwise to try and be worthy of annulling. Lightning resist chaos. Not very good. I'm going to need to get some scours happening. Alright, one more try on the fossils. Lightning damage with no open prefix. We got like big fat mana roll. Not super useful. All right. You can't really do life because it does like life regen or something on belts. I'm pretty sure it's like other jewelry. Oh, belt is like flask life recovery rate, which is not very useful for us. And like the ones that do lightning damage, for example, which I think is like these, just give resist. Oh, belt gives resistance. See, so like other jewelry is fine; it gives lightning damage, but belt it just gives a resist. Slamming for resist is fine, especially if you like need a particular resist. So we could do essences. For now, then I might. Do I want to YOLO on one of these? Maybe I'll go for that Chaos Resist during Flask effect. That'd be pretty entertaining if I crafted some crazy belt like that. I'm up for unique items. Flask effect duration. We have an open prefix this time. Chaos Resist, Lightning Res, Energy Shield. The mana's no good, but it does have an open prefix for life. So that's probably good enough for now, especially because we've kind of run out of fossils and stuff to use. So it's pretty alright for now. It's a decent life roll there. So that's pretty good. That's 64 life. Energy Shield, which is actually helpful for us. Chaos Resist during Flask effect duration, which is neat. And a bonus Lightning Res. So not too bad. Mana's the only useless roll there. And now all of a sudden I have heaps of Chaos Res, which is otherwise takes a fair bit of investment to get. 50 Chaos Res is pretty good. I kind of don't mind that essence on there, actually. Yeah, it's not lightning damage, but 50 Chaos Res this league. Ooh. Ooh, it's like basically always up, plus the Flask effect duration helps. If you were going to play an ES build, you'd really want to consider qualitying up your gear with Perfect Fossils first. But you can always, it is something you can always do later, though, with Syndicate. Chest armor, I would strongly recommend. Chest armor and helmet, I'd strongly recommend going for like 30 quality on Perfect Fossil if you're trying to make really, like long-term, make really good gear from it. So anything halfway decent at this point is fine, because I'm not going to do any influence on these yet. And this as a base is just 1C, so it's not really anything to do at the moment. For attack builds, gloves are pretty big. For cast builds, basic gloves are just nothing. Really, really basic, just life resist pretty much. But for like long term though, you can get some really nice stuff on gloves long term, especially when it comes to influence stuff. So you can get Unnerve on Hunter, for example, is really, really good. That's 10% increased spell damage taken. And there is also spell damage and stuff there, but those are kind of fairly minor. Culling Strike's always good. Some good stuff on Warlord and Hunter. So Warlord, Hunter's pair of gloves or something long term, you can do some pretty big stuff, but early on, there's not much we can actually really do with them. We could take a look at if we take all of these off. Just leave our items that are staying for the moment. We can take a look how our resist distribution lies, and it's all pretty even, so kind of whatever. We could like start with throwing just like cold resistance on here, for example. So I could just put a big fat cold resist on here. Gloves, it's cold damage to attacks. Where's the cold resistance? Is this one? So any armor is 46 to 48 cold resistance. So you could just throw a Deafening Essence of Hatred on there, it's quite fine. We rolled 69 life, 48 cold res, and open prefix and open suffix. A pretty flexible item as well. So that's pretty good. Landing the life roll in there is nice. So we could increase the energy shield further. We could add some energy shield and life, is not bad. We can do, if you wanted AoE, you could do AoE. I don't want to do AoE though. Damage during flask effects is actually pretty nice. 20 damage during flask effects for 2 alchs is pretty good. Otherwise, we can put resists that we might need on there as well. And there's also crit chance and elemental damage if you've dealt a crit recently. That one's quite nice. Attack and cast speed well focused if you want to go focus route. And of course, there is the hybrid resist chaos res, which is good too. So we'll probably come back to this once we've got the rest of our gear, the rest of our starting gear, because we can look at our resistance distribution and be like, okay, we need resist still. Or if we don't need resist, we put damage, generally. If you need resist, you go resist first. And then if you've got the opportunity for life, normally you'll prioritize that. And then if you've got all those sorted, then you'll look for damage when it comes to master crafting.